Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 3 to the 4th. I am Will.
And I am Bailey.
And today we are going to talk about baseball and softball. It's been a while since we took a look at them. Probably second episode?
I think that was second episode.
Second episode?
First real episode, second
Yeah,
episode.
it was the last time we talked about baseball. So it's been a while. Now that we're on episode 7, I think that's where we're at right now.
Sounds good to me.
I know. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at how baseball and softball finished up this season, talk a little bit about what went down, and kind of drop our thoughts. But to start, we'll go ahead and look where we were the last time we took a look at baseball and softball. So we can kind of take a little bit of a look through and back, and then to where we were when the season ended.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and start with baseball. Right. So the last time we looked at them, we were 13-15 overall record. Conference record was 6-3.
I like that.
We were first in the East, but Georgia Southern was right behind us at 7-5. And then South Alabama was in third with 5-4. Our home record was 9-2. Our away record was 4-13.
Yeah.
Some of the Sun Belt Series notable ones were Arkansas State. We won 3-0 with a 25-8 differential. Georgia Southern was 1-2 with a 6-14 differential. And then Georgia State was 2-1 with a 26-24 differential. And then there were some pretty bad non-conference losses. 0-12 loss to Wake Forest, 5-15 to UNCC, 3-game series to UNC with a differential of UNCW with a differential of 3-17, 3-game series to ECU with a differential of 6-28. And ECU is now ranked 9, I believe, if I remember correctly. And then we lost to NC State 2-13. Yeah. So where we left off, we were in this kind of weird purgatory state of like, we're doing bad everywhere else, but in the conference and where it matters, we're getting the job done.
So, I mean, it's not too bad. Like, we're doing good against who we need to do to make the tournament and win the tournament. But if we want to go any further, it's like we were...
Yeah, in every other facet of the
awful.
Season, it was not great at all.
Yeah.
So, Bailey, go ahead and tell us about where we ended up.
So, we ended up at 21-31 record, which honestly isn't too bad. I mean...
It's what, 30? No.
Almost 33%.
33%?
Almost, that is? Pretty much. And then our conference record was 11-10, so we kept a winning conference record, which I like. Our home record 12-8, which is amazing. But then our away record is just 8-22. So, I mean, you also assume that, so with baseball, we're playing all of our... So they're not the level of some other teams are, so we're playing the teams such as NC State, UNCW, and all these like ECU, all these good teams at their home. So it kind of takes away from our away record. And I feel like it'd be better if you took away those games that were like top-ranked people, but only winning 8 games away compared to 22 is still just... And losing 8 compared to 12 at home is just like...
Yeah.
Anyways, but Arkansas State, 3-0, 25-8 differential, which is nice. Georgia Southern, or you already went over this. But
yes, we did.
It's already on here twice. Cool. But our new differential is...
those were just the Sun Belt. I just had a general look at all the Sun Belt series, so those were the old ones. Here are the new ones that we hadn't looked at yet.
So we got Troy. We went 0-3 with a 6-23 score differential, which is...
Not great.
3 games, we scored 6 runs, 2 runs a game. That's just
not good.
Fun.
And then let up 23 runs, which is close to...
Over
7 runs.
8. It's almost 8. 7.66.
Almost 8. There you go.
And then U11, we went 1-2, 18-27 differential. So not too bad. We I guess we let up a bunch of runs in the games, but the 2 we won, we scored good easy. So I feel like pitching was definitely an issue with that series. And then Little Rock, we went 2-1 with a 9-5 differential. So that's a good pitching duel right there.
Yeah.
I mean, low-scoring games in 3 games, like compared to the other ones this one had 14 runs scored in 3 games, which is wild. And then South Alabama went 2-1 with a 13-17 differential. So we did have a losing differential, but we had a winning record.
Yeah, because Game 3 was 3-13, which is pretty crazy. So take away that game, I mean, and coming into Game 2, it was a 10-4 differential. So obviously, I mean, you're going to have some bad games. But I mean, you look at those last 2 series of Little Rock and South Alabama where it was 2-1 with only a 4-point scoring differential between the games. I mean, that's better than what we fared initially. You know, you're looking at some of our other ones where it's 25-8 or 6-14.
Yeah.
But you have Georgia State, who was 26-24, and then ULM was like 18-27. So these kind of more closer games are better. I mean,
They're better for the future of the program.
Yeah.
I think because that shows what our potential could be. It's
Yeah.
just we have to get past that potential and get the winning record there.
And then we move on looking at the non-conference games. We had a 2-1 series at Lipscomb with a 15-12 differential. So
I like it. Get some away record wins.
Yeah, we lost 8-11 to number 19 Charlotte at the time.
I'm not going to complain about that.
I'm not going to complain about that either. That is a close game against a top 25 team. I will take that. We lost 3-7 to NC State. He was ranked at the time, and at the time wasn't doing very good. But now,
I mean, now that you look at it, they currently just knocked out the number 1, and they just knocked out Vanderbilt.
Yep, they are doing crazy, which is great because it's taking away all of our recruitment. I like seeing that, but I don't like losing that game.
Yeah.
And then we just did not. We shit the bed in non-conference at the end of the season.
Yeah, for real.
We lost an 0-3 series to Miami with a 5-30 differential.
Jesus
so
Christ.
that was almost. I mean, it was practically 1-10 every game.
Pretty
almost.
much. I mean, we
2-10 thereabout.
Yeah.
Lost 5-10 to ETSU in Boone, and lost 0-2 to number 21 USC at the time in Columbia. So that's not bad either.
No,
So it's weird. We play against the ranked teams. It seems like we play better, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like App State football where we play to the level of our competition. But
not too bad.
You see, we kind of. I mean, in the Sun Belt, towards the end of the season, we kind of fell off. Not really. I mean, in comparison to what we had before, it was kind of the same thing. We kind of felt pretty mediocre, basically splitting each game 50-50. And then in the non-conference, we just proceeded to crap.
Yeah, I feel like we've stayed pretty much consistent the whole year for the most part, and just staying that mediocre, not like absolutely garbage, but not.
But, it kind of sucks because these non-conference games are really where you kind of get to show, like, what you have, you know? And, it's for those lower division teams, it's for them to kind of get some higher teams and get some practice in or some experience. But normally for, D1 teams, it's kind of put in a couple hard games, and then you normally kind of put in a couple cakewalks.
Yeah.
And it seems like we are not doing that.
Yeah.
And so is that because we are viewing ourselves as a lower program who needs experience, or are we viewing ourselves as somebody who needs more of a challenge? And I think, I would say right now it's looking at we are trying to give us some more experience.
Yeah, I think that's what it is too. And I mean, for one, having the best field in college baseball, but putting this on the field kind of sucks. But also, it's like we're getting that experience. It's like Kid Brewer Stadium has been Kid Brewer Stadium with a few minor changes, but compared to what we were like years and years and years ago, where we were in the stage at some points until we started winning the national championships, until we got to FBS. So I think it takes time to get to this level, and I think we're scheduling all these good teams to show that we will compete with them. Maybe we won't win, but we'll still only lose by 3 to 4 runs, with the exception of Miami.
Yeah.
But still, I think the program's on a good up and up.
I would have to agree, and I think we have to look for ways to bump up recruitment and things like that. And you'll see a lot of lower level programs will do that through the opponent that they schedule, the facilities they have. Kind of working on ways and things and getting these big wins. Nobody knew who App State was until we beat Michigan and things like that. App State is the same thing. We schedule these big programs so we can get on, national attention and things like that. So while we are failing in the non-conference area, these are the games that technically do not matter.
Yeah,
these are the games that won't affect your placement in the Sun Belt tournament.
Nope.
Won't do this. So if you want to go out there, we can talk bad about those games all you want, but at the end of the day, they're really not affecting your postseason unless you have, visions for more than the Sun Belt tournament. But I don't think that is something we have right now.
Not right now. Maybe the next 5-10 years. Or
let's win the Sun Belt tournament first.
Yes,
I think before we start trying to look at that. But it shows that our front office and our coaching staff have a belief in our players and want them to have the ability to be able to go on these stages and play these big teams.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see how we change in the next coming years. Whether that means coaching staff changes, even though they're doing what they can with recruiting right now, whether that means completely wiping out front office and completely changing everything, or do they keep on their track what they're doing, keep Kermit, keep the front office, and trust the process.
Mm-hmm. But speaking of some changes in the past year, let's go ahead and talk about the Sun Belt tournament, because there was not really a big change, but something different happened where we actually won a Sun Belt tournament game for the first time in program history,
which is amazing.
Which is really cool. We in round 1 we beat number 6 Texas State. It was 1-0 with 1 run in the 6th, so a nail biter of a game. A great game pitching. on our side, and just a really tough game, way to keep the boys kind of there. And so that got us a win to where we went to end up playing the number 1 seed in the West, Louisiana, and this was a super, super, super tight-knit game. I mean, it was 2-3 with 2 outs at the bottom of the 8th, and then Louisiana hit a grand slam, bases loaded.
And that basically shut us out.
And that made it 7-2. But I mean, as much as that sucks, you went 8 innings with the number 1 seed in the West at 2-3. When you're getting blown out by other teams, scoring 1 run a game or letting up 10 runs a game. These non-conference games, these Sun Belt games. So in the postseason, this team really showed up and really knew how to play.
Yeah.
Which for me totally flipped the season around.
I definitely think so too.
I think it flipped. Any momentum, and we said, in our first episode, we were like, we think if Kermit needs to not be on the hot seat, he needs to have one hell of a time in the Sun Belt tournament in the postseason. And I would say he did.
Yeah, yes, he only won 1 game. But you go out and play the number 1 seed. You're down by 1 run until the bottom of the 8th, and you have a grand slam. 1 play ended your season. But until then, you were
in it. Yeah. I mean, this was not a 5-30 blowout Miami series kind of thing. This was not that. This was a true fighting chance to advance in the Sun Belt tournament.
I don't think the score represented the game at all.
No, it doesn't. It does not. I mean, 2-7 looks bad, but when you look at 2-3 at the bottom of the 8th, that looks. I mean, that's.
You'll see all these walk-off grand slams bottom of the 9th, and you'll be like, oh, the score was 8-4 final until that grand slam was 4-4 with 2 outs at the bottom of the 9th. So it's you have to look at the actual game, not just. I mean, and
you talk about 1 play. They were at 2 outs, so you set them packing home if you had an out, and. I mean, this was, unfortunately, they hit the exact opposite, which was a grand slam. But, what if those bases weren't loaded? What if it was 1 run and it was 2-4 going into the 9th, And then the pressure's on the batters, but. I mean, 2-7 is a lot harder than 2-4 or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But looking in the Sun Belt tournament, when we talk about hot seats and changes and things like that, I was still a little skeptical to even put Kermit on the hot seat at the end of this season, confidently. But with how he did in the postseason, and now these players have what it feels to to have a taste of a Sun Belt tournament win, some major competition against the number 1 West seed. I would say. I can give Kermit another year.
I'll give him a year or 2. Plus, now with the big Boone Bigfoots, we have these prospects, D2, D3 coming in here now.
Yeah.
You also have people coming up to watch the Boone Bigfoots who play baseball. That's another stream that comes in and feeds App State for recruits.
Yeah.
So I think 2 to 3 more years, or 1 to 2 more years, and then see how that happens. See what goes on.
Yeah. It's also, 21-31 in comparison to what he had in years past. I mean, we haven't had a winning record in a while. So 21-30, besides COVID year, I'm pretty sure, but I don't even remember we had a winning record there.
We did, but it wasn't anything stellar. But COVID. So.
Yeah. Besides, coming off of this is a pretty average look at what Kermit normally does, but But this is an addition with the postseason success.
Yes.
So I think had we gone into the Sun Belt tournament, gotten blown out, maybe I'd be talking a little differently.
Yeah, the same.
But I think with a strong Sun Belt tournament performance. I don't think Kermit is on the hot seat just yet.
No, I wouldn't say so.
And I think overall, really proud of the boys. Because the back half of the season after we looked at them wasn't too hot. It was pretty mediocre. But, I mean, they really came in the Sun Belt tournament ready to work, ready to get the job done. Stayed focused, had a really close game against Texas State 1-0. And then, like we said, in it to the last fighting minute against Louisiana.
And I think only scoring 1 run in that Texas State game is also what hurt us in the Louisiana game. Because the bats weren't hot. Bats were cold.
Not at all.
One run against the worst seed or the number 6 seed. So I think...
Total Sun Belt tournament point differential was 3-7.
Yeah.
You had 3 hits and then 3 point scores, whatever you want to call it. 3 scores, runs. Thank you. 3 runs to 7 runs. In 2 games, in comparison to what we normally let up and normally provide, is
I'll take it. I'll take that.
So, all in all, it was a average season, but I think an above expectations Sun Belt performance.
The future looking good.
The future is looking a lot brighter than what we had seen in the previous episode. So, good job, boys.
Yep.
Good job, players.
Keep it up.
Good job, Kermit Smith. You're safe for now. But let us go ahead. I know. Let's go ahead and talk about softball.
Love softball now. So softball, where we left off, they were 20-10, winning record, 66% win. Conference they were 4-5, not as in the conference, but they're winning the out of conference games, which don't count, but they count in a different way. So we were 6th in the Sun Belt at the time. Louisiana was first with a 14-1 conference record, which is just amazing.
They were on a
they were on a 17-game win streak. Our home record was 7-2, which I love it, and then away record 13-8. We were winning both home and away. I love to see that no matter what. And then they were on currently a 9-game win streak when we last saw. And then again, the Sun Belt Series is when we left off. They lost a 3-game series to South Alabama with a score differential of 4-12. Lost a 2-game series to Texas State with a differential of 6-12. And then had 2 of 3-game series with Georgia State canceled. But the first game we won 6-5. So, I mean, we only played 1 game, but we still scored 6 runs in that game, which I like. And then a 3-game series we won against ULM with a differential of 10-2.
So we were definitely slacking in the Sun Belt. Yeah. First half.
It's a reverse baseball.
Yeah,
it's totally reverse baseball.
I think that's what we said. First episode, it was a complete reverse look of where we were doing. I mean, you look at we were 16-5 if I can do math correctly. 16-5 in non-conference, and then 4-5 in conference play is a complete and utter difference. And of course, in the games that. For baseball, we said they didn't matter, but apparently for softball, they matter, Bailey.
Well, it matters in a different way. Like, it doesn't matter for them in the tournament, but it also matters in getting recruits.
I guess that's true.
So, yeah, in the end, conference matters more, but it still matters to win a lot of games anyways.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at when the season ended. So from a 20-10 record, we went to 27-19. So we finished the back half of the season 7-9, which is okay, but finished with a winning record, and that's what matters. Conference was 8-12, coming off of a 4-5. So that was 4-7 conference record in the back half of the season. We finished 5th in the Sun Belt, and that was tying the highest regular season finish with the 2019 season. So it's good to see that we didn't really hurt too much coming off the COVID year.
Which I love to see.
Finishing, right around in the same spot. And as we talked about, and if y'all haven't listened to our last episode, go ahead and listen to it, because Shelly Herner and the softball team has done such a tremendous job with this rebuild that we have been looking at. And 2019 was, again, their highest finish in years. And then since Shelly Herner had taken over, and then, 2021, hell, they do it again.
So I love it.
And then we take a look. Home record was 10-6. Away record was 16-11. Now we look at the new Sun Belt series that we hadn't looked at before. So Georgia Southern was 2-1 with a differential of 14-15. But here's another thing like we had with baseball. Game 1 was 3-11. So take away game 1, and the differential was 11-4. So,
I mean, there you go.
Yeah, the point differential can be very misleading sometimes, because we were dominant in games 2 and 3, but game 1 was not so much. And then Troy, we lost the series 0-2 with a differential of 8-11, but it was close.
I'll take a close series over a Miami series.
A close fight. UTA was a 1-2 series with a differential of 2-8. Not as close as a fight.
No.
And then Coastal was 1-2 with a differential of 10-25. So again, not as close as a fight.
I will take a win over Coastal though, because they are a baseball / base running school. So, I mean, I'll take it. Honestly, it sucks to see that 15 run differential, but also they're a lot higher end base running sports than we are.
Yeah, and so we're kind of seeing another reflection of kind of how the baseball season ended, with a fairly mediocre ending as well.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy.
It got hot, then slowed down.
Yeah. I mean, a losing record for the back half of the season, but finishing where we needed to finish to get into the Sun Belt tournament. So let's go ahead and talk about the Sun Belt tournament. So we came in first game and lost the game to South Alabama 0-11. So got crushed. Yeah. Not very good. And then we went ahead, and I was trying to figure out these brackets. These softball, baseball brackets are so confusing.
I think softball was double elimination.
Because
we lost twice.
No, it was weird. It was like it is double elimination. Basically, you go from a regular bracket to a loser's bracket, and then the loser's bracket doesn't technically knock you out, so it is double elimination. So you're in one bracket, and then you go to loser's bracket. Then if you lose in the loser's bracket, then you're done. So I guess you're right.
Yeah,
that's what you meant. Yeah. Okay. Listen, I was confused. So we lost the first game to South Alabama 0-11. I'm pretty sure South Alabama was one of the top seeds in the tourney.
And they were dominating us. I mean, the other time we were 4-12 differential against them in the regular season, so nothing too different.
But then, just like baseball did, we beat Georgia State 2-1 to get our first tourney win in program history.
Love it.
So that is an accolade. That is a landmark. And then we went ahead and just completely turned around the idea of game one, and we lost our third game to South Alabama 1-2. So what I see there is I see improvement, I see adjustments, I see really looking at it, not getting your players down, saying, listen, here's what we did wrong the first time we played them, let's fix that, come back and change it, and it worked.
And pitching went off that game. They stopped them, they took them 9 runs down in like a weekend, or a week. So I love to see that. Pitching made the adjustments. Hitting needed a little more adjustments, but also I'm guessing South Alabama's pitching is really good. So, I mean, I love to see it. So, yeah, we have finally got a run against them. We kept them to 2 runs, which is
Shelley just did a great job of looking at the South Alabama game one, and figuring out what needed to be done.
Yeah.
And what we see here is adjustments. And you see that player motivation. That I imagine that Georgia State game helped boost morale so much that they came in and lost 1 run to a team who beat them 0-11 the first time they played. So that just shows fight, that shows adjustments, that shows good coaching, good player momentum. I mean, again, just 2 super impressive Sun Belt tournament runs from teams where we didn't expect, any big
first tourney wins.
Yeah, we did not expect, any big. I mean, for any of our teams this year, besides football, of course.
Yeah.
Basketball, we didn't expect much in the Sun Belt tournament from basketball. I mean, we expect hopefully a first win, but we did not expect a March Madness bid or anything like that. So it really does show how App State has really come up and up in getting the job done in the postseason when it comes to Sun Belt tournament play. We saw great stuff from our boys, great stuff from our ladies, just great all around. And Shelly Herner is nowhere near on the hot seat, so we don't even have to talk about that because she's doing a tremendous job with this rebuild. But let's also look at who's doing a tremendous job by looking at some of the season accolades that the softball ladies got. If you wanted to go ahead and take that away.
So Kenzie Longenecker and Gabby Barato, I'm guessing I'm pronouncing that wrong, but
No, right. Looks right to me.
I don't know. We're also named to the 2021 All Sun Belt second team, and they were the 4th and 5th Mountaineers ever to do so.
And that is awesome. Second team, and 4th and 5th in program history. So what we're seeing first win in program history, 4th and 5th players in team history to be named to an All Sun Belt team. We're just looking at, best finish.
Back-to-back winning records.
Yeah. I mean, we were just looking at an amazing, very successful rebuild, with Shelly Herner and the softball team from where we came from. And like I said, if you don't know what rebuild we're talking about, go ahead and look at our last episode.
Check it out.
To really, really see how impressive this is. Because before Shelly Herner came on, I mean, it was
a 1-year turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, it was a super quick turnaround. And so that's going to, I mean, the future of both programs is really, really trekking upward.
Yeah, no,
I
like it.
Is really good, especially softball. It's going to pull in a lot of good recruits. We're seeing a lot of good performance here. In Sun Belt play, you're getting some conference games where we're succeeding in those non-conference games, or getting up in the postseason, getting up in the Sun Belt play, and just overall doing a really, really solid job. And I'm overall I'm happy with App State sports.
Agreed. You talk to someone 5 years ago about what App State's known for, they say football in the mountains.
Yeah.
And smoking weed. But
yeah.
But now you talk to them, you can talk to people in 2 to 3 years, and they'll be like, oh, they're good at football. They're good at wrestling. They're good at baseball. They're good at softball. They're good at track. They would be good at men's soccer.
They're good at wrestling.
But wrestling is just amazing. And women's volleyball is going great right now. Like, we're getting all these sports up on the rise. We're proving ourselves to be a D1 school, not just a 2007 fluke. Not just, we somehow got to the FBS, but we're not actually an FBS team. No, we're showing that we're a D1 school, and a D1 school who will keep competing.
Yeah, and that's really what App State is about, is showing your worth, showing your passion, and showing your fight. That is like the App State way, is doing that.
I mean, you got this right here that we will not iron ever at Susie.
Never. Screw you, Susie Canati. They are, truthfully, all players are giving their all for App State. And it's just so great to see, we're, luckily for us, we have come in at a time of prosperity for Appalachian State athletics, which has just been really great for us to see and a really awesome thing to happen. But Bailey, I think we end on a good note there.
I think it's a very good note.
Do you have anything else to end on?
I got nothing. But just support all App State sports.
Yeah.
I want to go to women's volleyball game. I want to go to as many games as I can this year, no matter what it is. just because I want to support my whole school.
Yeah,
So the one thing, don't just go to football games and show up drunk halfway through the first quarter.
Exactly.
Go
and
there,
then leave at halftime.
Go there early. Go to baseball games. Go to softball games. Go to women's basketball. The women's basketball game was amazing.
Oh my god, it was so much fun.
And then men's basketball. Go to men's basketball games. Pack home center.
Yeah, we got to pack homes.
Even for volleyball, pack home center. They play at homes. Like, pack wherever you go.
Mm-hmm. Couple quick things to end on. If you were that one fan who said that you went to App State and then watched Ohio State every time App State had a home football game, screw you. You're trash.
Someone didn't go to Ohio State is all I'm hearing.
He's from Charlotte. He is a disgrace to the city of Charlotte. So, boo you.
You weren't a Charlotte fan, but you're an Ohio State.
Right? That's what I'm saying. I mean, he's even worse than the people who choose to go to UNC Charlotte at that point. All right, and then make sure y'all go ahead and get your tickets to the Boone Bigfoots. Appalachian Football Club. Appalachian Football Club just came off a couple great wins last week. Go to the Boone Bigfoots. They're always having a great time. We're going to go ahead pretty soon and get in talks with Andrew Papp, their head of operations, and hopefully looking to get into a deeper talk with him about the Boone Bigfoots, looking more at their recap. We'll go ahead and probably take a look at the Appalachian Football Club a little bit more. And then we also have our very first Fans Choice episode coming up, so make sure you drop your suggestions about what we should talk about. And then we're going to have a couple more business spotlight episodes heading your way. So a lot of exciting stuff happening over at 3 to the 4th. But that appears to be it.
I think that's
so. I am Will.
And I'm Bailey.
And this has been 3 to the 4th.
Y'all have a good one.
See ya.